Hello. Sir, please unmute yourself. Hello, sir. Please unmute yourself.
It's saying host is not allowing to unmute. Okay. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. I am able to hear you.
Okay. If all the participants are there, then we can start the webinar.
Yeah, sir. We can. Sir, should I?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Now, as the
Is my
world
voice
is
audible
increasing.
properly?
Sorry.
Is my voice audible to you?
Yeah.
To
You are
everyone?
audible, sir.
Perfect. Perfect then.
Shall I start?
Sure. Please.
As the world is increasingly interconnected, everyone share the responsibility of securing cyberspace. A very warm and a pleasant morning to one and all present here. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker for today's session, Cyber Law Practice Protection and Awareness by Advocate Abhishek Upadhyay, Bombay High Court. Sir, would you like to questioning at the end of the session or at the mid of the session?
No, we will take all the questions at the end of the session.
Okay. So I shall start the session.
So should I start?
Yeah, sir, you can.
Okay. So first of all, a very warm good morning to everybody. And, this positivity has definitely made me positive that you all have, taken out all your valuable time and you are here on a Sunday to understand what is cyber security and cyber frauds. So this is the first time that we are connecting with Lawyers Bro on this platform and giving out a webinar on, cyber security and its legal framework. And let me tell you that I am very touched by the kind of hospitality that they have shown towards me. And I am more touched that, students who are going to be the future lawyers of our country, they have actually taken out the time and they are interested to understand that what is cyber security and what are the kinds of cyber frauds. So before we start this session, I would like to start with very interesting statistics that I would like to put in front of you. So if you all must be knowing that the population of India today is around 133 crores. But there are not more than 5,000 cybersecurity trained police professionals in India. So if you see the ratio, that is for one, there is one cybersecurity professional for round about, lakhs and lakhs of citizens. So when the data is so alarming, the only thing that can actually protect us in today's time is the awareness and sensitization you have about cybersecurity. Now, the awareness and sensitization should start from the public in general because public is the main custodian of their own data. Now, this awareness and sensitization should not be only limited to the public. There should be a three-dimensional or a threefold approach that needs to be, taken in order to make India a cyber safe and cyber security, a secure nation. So, as I said, that why is it necessary from the public? Because public is the main custodian of its data. As you put a very strong lock to all your physical assets, it is also necessary that you put in a very strong lock to all your digital assets. Now, this awareness and sensitization should not be only limited towards the public. This sensitization and awareness should also be given to the judiciary and the police personnel, because the police personnel is the investigation agency in this particular matter. Now, you would like to ask me that, okay, why the judiciary needs to be, made aware or sensitized. So, friends, let me tell you that this particular act, the Information Technology Act, was enacted in the year 2000. And it has been 20 years since the time that this act has been passed, and the amendment came in the year 2008. So even the amendment is 12 years old. And if you see the advancement in the technology in the past 20 years, the technology has, advanced leaps and bounds. Like, for example, in the year 2000, there were no, online platforms to make digital payments. But right now, if you see in this 20 years time frame, most of the transactions are happening digitally. People are using applications like phone pay, google pay, or another xyz applications that they are using for making digital payments. So that is why the sensitization from the judiciary is also equally important. Now, covering the third aspect of this particular thing is that why the police need to be made aware and sensitized. Because friends, in my experience, I've been handling a lot of cyber fraud cases, and in these cyber fraud cases, a lot of customers come and tell me, or a lot of my clients come and tell me that, sir, when we go and visit the police station, they ask us questions like, OTP तो आपने ही दिया है ना, आपने ही तो मतलब वो फ्रेंड रिक्वेस्ट एक्सेप्ट की ना, तो उसमें चीटिंग क्या हुआ? So you're understanding the kind of point that I'm trying to make here, because since they are the investigation agency, even they should know that what are the various cyber frauds, what are the cyber crimes, what are the various new methodologies that need to be undertaken in terms of the cyber forensics. So hence, the only option is to have a threefold or a three-dimensional approach wherein the public, the judiciary, and the police personnel are trained, and then we can say that we are inching closer to make India a cyber safe and cyber secure nation. Now, as we dig deeper into this, webinar, I would like to ask you, or I would like to make few basic assumptions. So, my first assumption would be most of the people who are a part of this forum are using a mobile phone. My second assumption, most of the people attending this forum are do have an email address. My third assumption is that most of you are also using WhatsApp, and my fourth and fifth one is everyone has a Facebook account, and most of them are using Truecaller as an application. Now, the questions that I'm asking, you might feel that these questions are very generic. Everyone has an email address, everyone has a mobile phone, everyone has a Facebook account. So you might feel that these questions are very irrelevant or stupid, as I may call it. But let me tell you, friends, that for me, these questions are very important and they hold a great relevance to me. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because with my experience with dealing with cybersecurity matters, I know certain things for a fact, or as a matter of fact, I know that even without you inserting your SIM card in the phone, a telephone call can be generated from your telephone number. Even without you inserting your SIM card, an SMS can be generated from your particular number. And God forbid, if a cyber fraud happens using such technology, and if your phone number is being used, then let me tell you, friends, that it would be you who would be called in the respective cyber cell or in the respective police stations for the purpose of investigation. So that is why I always say that to be aware and to be, sensitized is the best way forward, or is the best step forward to remain safe and secure in these times wherein cyber frauds are in the rise at a rate of 300%. Now, my third question that I ask you is that everyone is using a Facebook account. Let me tell you, friends, that let Facebook boast of the best security practices in the world. But let me tell you, for a hacker, it is merely a job of 20 to 25 minutes to hack into a person's profile. 76% of the cyber crimes are happening using Facebook as a platform. And trust me, friends, 53% of these crimes are happening against women. Now, I would like to ask you one more question. How many people in this forum have actually posted their own profile picture on Facebook? If I'm not wrong, most of these people have, posted their own picture or their own, photo as their profile picture. But friends, let me tell you that this is the most riskiest thing that you have ever done. Because if a fraudster wants to, commit a fraud using your photo, all he needs to do is he just needs to cut, copy, paste, take a screenshot and create a profile. All these features are enabled on Facebook. Now I'll tell you a very interesting case that I was handling when I was giving a seminar in one of the colleges in Mumbai. So while giving this webinar, after my completion, one male student, frantically came up to me and said that, "Sir, I want to talk to you." I said, "Okay, I would talk to you, but unfortunately during that time I was a little busy. I had some, preset appointments, so I was not able to talk to him." So what I did is that I said that you please take my mobile number and you give me a call in the morning. He tried calling me 2 3 times, but unfortunately, even at that point of time, I was in a meeting, so I was not able to answer his call. But since he was calling me 2 3 times, I understood that the matter is something that is serious. So when I got free from my meetings, the first thing I did is that I gave him a call and I told him that what is the matter, and to discuss the matter, you please come down to my office. So when he came down to my office, he started crying. So I said, "Why are you crying? What has gone wrong?" So he said, "Sir, from the past 6 months, I've not been able to attend college." I said, "What is the reason for this? That you're not able to attend college? You're missing your, important, academics. You might even lose out a year." So, and even after looking at his personality, I could see that there were dark circles under his eyes, and his body language was telling me that he's emotionally disturbed. So I tried to probe further and I tried to understand further that, okay, what is going wrong or what is actually happening. So that is why, while crying, he confessed that, "Sir, I'm not able to attend college because I am doing a job in a call center and I'm doing night shifts. And since I'm doing night shifts, I'm not able to attend college in the morning." I said, "What is the reason that you are doing these night shifts and you are ready to sacrifice your entire year?" So that is when he confessed that he's been tortured or blackmailed by a girl that he added in his WhatsApp as a WhatsApp friend. So when I tried to understand the matter, he told me that he received a request from an unknown girl and he accepted that request. And during the course of time, they started chatting. Now, during the course of time, the chats went more personal or more intimate, wherein the boy started sharing intimate details about him or personal details about him. And after a while, this particular girl started blackmailing him to give him 20,000 rupees every month. And if he doesn't give that 20,000 rupees, she said, "I will upload all these chats or I'll send an email to the dean of your college." Now, this boy was very scared. He said that if this thing goes to the dean of my college, I might be rusticated from the college, because that is the kind of fear that you have in your mind when something like this happens. So I took up this case on emotional grounds. I said that, okay, morally I'm bound to particularly pursue this matter or take up this case. So I took up this case on moral grounds and I started the cyber forensics or cyber investigations. During the first phase of the investigation, we came to know that this particular Facebook account is accessed from somewhere in the vicinity of the hostel of the college. So one thing was sure that, okay, this person or this girl was accessing this account, or this particular girl was somewhere in the vicinity of the hostel. So we got our first clue in that. And to our surprise, when we digged deeper, we came to know that this is actually not a girl, but it is actually a boy who's staying in the same hostel, who was his friend, who also shared the same bench in his college. And during the course of conversation, he used to ask all these personal details and then pose himself as a girl. And then he used to, he started harassing this particular boy. I hope the kind of point that I'm trying to make here is understood. The only thing that I'm trying to tell you is here that your safety and your security is in your hands. You should be very privy to the kind of information or the kind of things that you are posting on your Facebook account, because you never know that when a fraudster is going to grab the details, and you never know when you are going to be defrauded. Talking about Facebook, if there are any advocates in this forum, or any general people in this forum, the general public, I would like to ask this question, that how many of you have actually read the terms and conditions of Facebook?
No one.
No one? I knew this answer, because if you go ahead and read the terms and conditions of Facebook, you will come to know that Facebook does not take any responsibility of the information that you upload on their platform. It first of all puts an obligation on you that you should be sharing all the correct information about you, but they do not talk about the security and the privacy of this information. On the contrary, if you see the terms and conditions of Facebook, you will come to know that they have said that they might share your personal information with third party service providers or third party partners. So friends, please understand the kind of risk your data is at. All these applications like Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Instagram, they all collect your information free of charge, and they are earning millions and millions on this information by the way of advertising. For example, if you type on your Google bar that you want to purchase a shoe, or if you want to buy shoes or a new t-shirt, then you just type in t-shirts online on your Google bar. And correct me if I'm wrong, that if you go on the other sites, you will see the list of various companies who are offering that particular product that you are particularly searching from. So friends, where are these people getting this information from? They are getting this information from the account. They are getting this information because you are providing them with all this intelligence, and that is why they are able to give you out suggestions on the basis of your particular requirement. Now, I was handling a very interesting case of a very famous police officer in India. So he was a well-known personality and a well-loved personality, I would say. So one evening I get a call from this particular police officer, and he calls me and tells me that, sir, that someone has created a Facebook group using my name, and he's posting, various pictures, messages, he's posting political views. And I have not created this account. This is a fictitious account. And to his surprise, most of his batchmates who were in the police services, who were in the IPS, or even people in the IAS, and some of the politicians were a part of that group, and they were following this particular group. Upon doing some investigation on this particular account, we came to know that this particular group has been used, or has been created by a college going boy. The boy was immediately nabbed, and the case is still going on. And let me tell you, friends, that his life and his career have gone for a toss. Friends, has anyone in this forum posted pictures of their famous celebrity or their famous actor or cricketer as their profile picture on their Facebook? Have anyone of you done that?
Yeah,
Have you done that?
sometimes. Yeah,
Sometimes?
once. Yeah.
Okay. So let me tell you that people who have done this thing have actually committed a crime as per the cyber laws prevalent in India. If you look at the section 66C that deals with identity theft, you have committed some sort of identity theft by using someone else's picture without taking their explicit permission. 3 years imprisonment and up to 1 lakh rupees fine. I don't want to discuss this matter further because I don't want to create an atmosphere of fear. But being a cyber security professional, or being into the legal field, and being a citizen of India, I feel that it is my moral responsibility to share the correct facts and the real scenario in front of you.
Hello.
I'm sure most of these people are in this forum are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp के बिना तो चलता नहीं है. Messages तो text messages तो कब के पुराने हो चुके हैं. Now the new thing is WhatsApp. Everyone is chatting, sending text, sending videos, photos using WhatsApp as a platform. If you read the terms and conditions of WhatsApp, you will come to know that they say that we only transmit the information from the sender to the receiver. The servers are only used to transmit this information. But in reality, while doing certain cyber forensics, we are being able to get information that was uploaded a month back. So that gives you an idea that these people are also storing this information somewhere on their server. And let me tell you that we don't even have the jurisdiction to actually go ahead and ask information or ask the authentication of information from their particular servers, because most of the main servers are not located in India. Now let me come to my fifth assumption. I asked you a question wherein if anyone in this group was using Truecaller as an application. So friends, let us try to understand what is this Truecaller as an application. How does it work? So if I'm not wrong, why is Truecaller as an application used? The application is used to give you information about a person whose details are not stored in your contact list. Is that right? This is the main purpose of Truecaller, to give out information wherein such information of that particular person calling you is not there in your contact list. When an unknown person calls you, at some point of time you get his name, at some point of time you get the service provider that he is calling from, at some point of time you also get the location that he is calling from. Again, how many of you have actually read the terms and conditions of Truecaller? If you see the terms and conditions of Truecaller, Truecaller says that it does not take responsibility of any data that you have uploaded on any particular server. Let me ask you that, do you know what is the location of the servers of Truecaller? The location of Truecaller are actually the location of the servers of Truecaller is in Sweden. It's a country in Europe, and the servers of Truecaller are in Sweden. And if my memory is not wrong, in the year 2014, there was a big hacking that went on for the servers of Truecaller, and around data of 10 million Indians was hacked. As we talk, this amount or this figure has increased to maybe 25 million or 30 million. I hope the kind of point that I'm trying to make here, once again, I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear, but these are the facts that you should be particularly be aware of. And who's to be blamed for this, or who's going to take onus for this? Truecaller clearly states that we do not take any onus for the privacy. We do not take any control over the data that you have uploaded. We have it puts the onus on you that it is your responsibility that you put the correct details or the correct data on Truecaller. On top of it, it also says that it has no privacy settings or no privacy measures to make sure that the data that is stored on your server is protected, and they do not take any legal liability for the same, because when you download this Truecaller as an application, you yourself give them all the permissions by ticking on that box which says that I have read the terms and conditions of this particular application. Just a small tick. You don't even bother to actually go ahead and read the terms and conditions. So since you are not aware and since you are not sensitized about the data that is being transmitted on these platforms, it is but natural for you to not know that what are the nuances or how to save yourself from the dark clutches of cyber frauds and cyber crimes. Now, as we dig deeper into this webinar, let me try to explain that what are the different kinds of cyber frauds and cyber crimes. So let us start with the most common type of cyber frauds, which are bank frauds. So in this bank frauds, what happens is, in an unauthorized manner, money is being siphoned off from your bank account, or by using your, by illegally or by, accessing your, net banking details, by accessing your credit card details, by accessing your debit card details or your ATM card details without your authorization, in an illegal manner, without your permission. The money is been transferred or siphoned off into a different account. This will come into the gambit of cyber bank frauds in the foray of cyber crimes. Another type of cyber frauds that are very rampant are e-commerce frauds. Now, in order to understand what are these e-commerce frauds, let me give you a very live example that happened in front of me. So me and my friend had gone out for a with in our group. We had gone out for dinner in the evening, and one of the friends in my group, he was continuously chatting with someone. So we started teasing him that whom are you chatting with? Is that is this some girl that you're chatting, and you've come with us for dinner and you are not interested to talk to us, but you are more busy on the mobile. So that is when he told us that actually I'm trying to sell my car on this platform by the name of OLX, and the person, without even seeing my car, he is ready to pay me 10,000 rupees advanced. I said, okay. I immediately, since I have some experience of cyber forensics and cyber investigation, I immediately understood that something really fishy is going on over here. Because friends, the cyber fraudsters or the cyber scamsters, they are always trying to study the psychology of the person whom they are trying to defraud. In a crime, the psychology of the person who's getting defrauded or the psychology of a victim plays a very important role in the success of that particular crime. So the cyber fraudsters are also trying to understand, or they are trying to exploit the human psychology. So as they are trying to decipher our psychology, let us spend a minute by trying to decode what is the psychology of a cyber fraudster. So the psychology of a cyber fraudster is always, they try to take advantage of the basic human emotion of greed. Every person, every human being has this basic notion of being greedy. If he sees something that is too good to be true, he immediately jumps on to the offer. And that is why the cyber fraudsters are so successful, because they exploit the basic human emotion of greed. They give you offers that are too good to be true. They will give you lotteries. They will give you offer you money as gifts. So friends, there are no free lunches in this world is one thing that you all need to understand here. Again, coming back to the point. So what happened is, I told my friend that, okay, I think that this is something fishy, and let me go ahead and talk to this particular person. I spoke to that particular person. I told him that, since you have liked the car so much, why don't you transfer the money into my bank account? Immediately he said that, no, sir, we will not transfer it into your account, but we will transfer, I will send you a link. You click on that link and it will, the money, then I will transfer the money into your account. Now, I had some background about cyber frauds and investigations, and with my experience, I was immediately able to gauge that this is something that is a fraud. So what I told him, after seeing the link or doing some basic forensics on that link, I came to know that this link is fraudulent. And if you click on that link, even without you giving out your OTP or even without you giving out your PIN for your digital wallet, the money will be siphoned off from your account. So I told this cyber fraudster to call me. Look at his guts. He even had the guts to call me. And, when he called me, he said that, sir, I've sent you this link. You click on that link and the money will be, the money, I will transfer, the money will be transferred into your account. So I said, okay, friend, you do one thing. Why don't I send you my bank details and you transfer this money into the bank account? That will be more easier for me because I'm not using any digital wallets. He immediately disconnected the call, and when we tried to call him back, he never answered the call ever again. So all these kind of frauds come into the gambit or come into the foray of e-commerce fraud, wherein things that are fictitious or not even in existence, people try to sell these things on internet and try to defraud people by taking the money and then running away or not answering their calls. And for friends, for amounts like 25,000, 30,000, there are a lot of people that I know that they don't even make a complaint because they know that the investigation is going to take so much time. They have to go and visit the police station 10 times. They have to give the statement. They have to show the evidence. So it's a time consuming and a cumbersome process. So all these smaller amounts go even unnoticed, and most of the people don't even make a report in the police station. Coming to the other parts of cyber frauds, there are other types of cyber frauds that are like job frauds. So to explain this again, I have a very interesting case study. So one of my clients, what happened is he wanted a job outside India. So on shine.com, which is a job portal, he got a message from shine.com saying that from a recruiter saying that his profile has been shortlisted and he'll be given a job in Australia. So when he accepted the job offer, the fraudster sent him various links which were looking very similar to the Australian immigration authorities. And in the name of customs, in the name of medical checkups, in the name of immigration formalities, 2 crore 78 lakh rupees were siphoned off from his account. Now, personally, if you ask me, I will also say that it is definitely the duty of that person also to make sure that his money is not being given to any fraudster. What he actually did is that after this 2 crore 78 lakh rupees was siphoned off from his account, then he started calling up the relevant immigration authorities, and he came to know that none of his details were ever submitted to him and none of such company ever existed. So friends, at the point I'm trying to make here is that you should be very due diligent in making any online transactions or having any dealings that comes with the that happens on all the social platforms. Now, after the money being siphoned off into the account, that is when he started checking out or calling the Australian immigration authorities. Why the hell did he not do this due diligence at stage one? When 1 rupee was told to, even a single rupee was transferred, why wasn't this due diligence done at that point of time? Why is the due diligence happening when you have been defrauded? So that is why I always tell my friends that, okay, the only thing that can make you aware and secure is your awareness and sensitization about the issues pertaining to cyber security and cyber scams. Most of the people who are defrauded, they come into the garb of the exploitation of the human emotion of greed, wherein they feel that, okay, I have got this thing so easily, so let me do everything to grab it. But let me tell you, friends, that it's not that you are trying to grab the thing, it is the fraudster who's trying to grab money from your account. Other type of frauds that include are also frauds that are called friendship frauds. So unknown people posing as I'll give you an example for this. So one of my friends, she had spent some time in Canada, and after coming back she receives a request from a fictitious profile who posed himself as he's a widower staying in Canada, and he took the name of one of the friends that were there in that lady's list. Now they developed a very good friendship, and they started sharing all personal information. This person told that particular lady that he's a widower staying in Canada, and he's working as a director in one of the big MNCs in the world. And as the friendship grew, he said that, okay, on one particular day I'm going to come and meet you in India. The lady got very excited that, okay, that person is going to come and meet her from Canada. And she started making preparations in terms of asking him what are his favorite dishes and what kind of Indian places he would like to see. So she started making bookings and all for this particular person's arrival. So let's take an example that this person was supposed to come on the 15th of this month. So on the 14th, this particular person messages this lady and says that due to some work commitments, he's unable to come on the 15th, and he's not taken the flight from Canada to India. And as a gesture of apology, he would like to send her a gift. Now the lady gave her his address details and everything, and 3 days later, she receives a call from a courier company in Delhi saying that the gift has reached the Delhi airport, and she needs to go ahead and come and collect it in the next one day. Now the lady was working, so she said she cannot come and collect the gift. But why? Since they are a courier company, why don't they go ahead and transfer or send the gift across to her address? So the courier company told that lady that, okay, there are certain custom formalities that need to be completed, and you need to make the payment for the customs, as the gift that is sent to you runs in crores, and hence the custom duty would run into lakhs. After 3 to 4 days, she even received a call from the fraudster posing as the custom official, saying that this gift has been received by the Delhi airport and you have to collect it, otherwise this particular gift will go into auction. She also received a call from this fictitious friend forcing her that please immediately collect the gift, otherwise this gift will go into auction and no one will be able to enjoy the gift. So, fearing that, the lady transferred 11 lakh rupees into the fraudster's account. And as usual, once the money is transferred, the fraudsters do not answer the call. Hence, my friends, I'm trying to explain again and again the same point, that your due diligence is very important. The cyber fraudsters are trying to defraud you by exploiting the emotion of greed. They are trying to give you things that are too good to be true. You have to use your logic that why would a person who barely knows you for hardly 3 to 4 months, why is he going to send you a gift which is running in crores? You should use this logic, and the logic can save you from this particular frauds. If you're not using your logic, if you think that, okay, such things are really true and they are happening, then let me tell you, friends, that you are in for a big surprise, and you are in to be getting defrauded. The other type of scams, if you ask me, are cyber stalking, when an account is being stalked and all personal information is being gathered. And then it takes the form of cyber bullying. So wherein a person, posts derogatory messages, vulgar messages on your profile or your, social media accounts. So this comes into the foray of cyber bullying. Then a very new attack that has come into the fraud market is the Salami attack. It's not the chicken salami that we have. The reason why it is called salami is because we cut chicken salami in very small pieces before we make a sandwich out of it. So in the same way, in this salami attack, a very small amount from your account, like maybe 10 rupees, 25 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, a very minuscule amount is being siphoned off every month from your bank's account. a malicious software is induced into the bank software, wherein automatically 10 rupees are or 100 rupees are debited every month from your particular account. Now for you it might not be a big amount, but this 10 rupees or this 100 rupees is been siphoned off from lakhs and lakhs of account. So the fraudster at the end of it is earning crores and crores of rupees. So any unauthorized transaction in your bank, you have to be aware. Lot of times you are, if you're using any debit card or credit card, they give you offers that if you pay petrol, you will get 1% or 2% cash back. So you will get emails or you will get messages which are looking very similar to it. But instead of the amount being credited into your account, the amount is actually debited. So even if you get a message that 2 rupees are credited into your account, it is your duty to go ahead and open your account to really see if they have been credited or they have been debited. Because if you show your negligence to such a small amount, you never know that you may be in for a big shock and the account may be siphoned off for a bigger transaction. So that is why I say that you have to be very safe and very secure about the information that you are uploading. And when I was discussing this case wherein this lady lost even 11 lakh rupees, you know how this friend got information about this common friend? All he had to do is he just had to visit her profile. He saw the list of friends. He saw two, three foreigners' names. He checked out their profile, and he came to know. Plus, this lady had also posted pictures when she was in Canada. So he immediately came to know that this lady has stayed from this period to this period in Canada, and she has such mutual friends in that particular list. So friends, you should be very careful about the virtual information or the information that you are uploading on all these social media channels. I would never say that you should stop using social media or you should stop using technology. Because friends, if you understand, the purpose of the invention of technology was to make life easier or was to make life simpler. But again, every coin has its two sides, and the other side of this coin is that there are also cyber fraudsters who are waiting for you to make that particular mistake, and with that mistake they are going to capitalize on that and they are going to siphon off money from your account. Now, since we are already 30-40 minutes into this webinar, I would like to tell you that how legally we are tuned as a system to deal with cyber frauds and cyber crimes. So at the start of the webinar, as I said, that the Information Technology Act was enacted in the year 2000 and the last amendment came in the year 2008. If you see in the year 2000, there were not much Indians who were using social media. There were not much Indians who were using Facebook. There were no companies like Truecaller. There were no companies like WhatsApp. There were no companies like Instagram. So all these technologies were fairly came out in the last 7 to 8 years, and this is when the upsurge of using these technologies actually started. And if you see that the act is so old that it is not actually competent to address the complex issues that arise out of using today's technology. For example, 20 years back, no one used to make online payments. Everyone used to either issue a check or used to deposit the money into the bank account. But is it the case now? Even for buying 10 to 15 rupees stuff, we directly make an online payment. So that is how the advancement in the technology has become. And the IT Act is actually not tuned to, undertake issues or undertake frauds that are made using latest technology. Now, I'll give you a very small example when I say this. As per the Information Technology Rules 2011, it is mandatory for any e-commerce company to make sure that they display the name of the grievance officer and the privacy policy on a very visible place on the website. but you check out today's most branded e-commerce sites, and please come back to me and tell me that if you see the name of the grievance officer or the privacy policy displayed at a very prominent or at a very visible place on the website. Most of the e-commerce companies or most of the companies who are selling goods are keeping the name of the grievance officer or the privacy policy in a very small font, and at the very bottom side, or at a place wherein it will not be immediately visible. If you see their website, at the right hand corner on the bottom, in a very small font, you will see the terms and conditions or the privacy policies. So even the judiciary needs to be made that strong enough that wherein suo moto actions can be taken against such defaulters, wherein they should be given strict penalties for not following the security measures, because we are paying our hard-earned money to make purchases using these platforms, and they are the custodian of our data. So it is their responsibility to make sure that the data that we have put in, the bank details that we have put in, are safe and secure. Now, when it comes to the Information Technology Act, there are certain sections that deal with the cyber frauds or cyber crimes. So we will start with section 65 of the Information Technology Act. It talks about altering computer source or computer information. So let me explain in a very simple form that what is tampering with computer source or computer source code or computer software. So for this, I'll again explain a live case study that I was handling. So one of my clients, who is an owner of a very big IT company in India, he gave me a call in the morning and he told me that, sir, I want to come and meet you in your office because there is something really grave that is happening that is tarnishing the reputation of my business. So I gave him an appointment in the evening, and when he came to my office in the evening, he disclosed that anytime after every 2 days, when someone is trying to log in into his website, or when someone is putting his website address, his website is automatically being redirected to a pornographic website. Now, most of his clients were US based clients, and people who were accessing this his website, they were all getting redirected to a pornographic website. So he told me that his reputation is being tarnished because most of his clients are US based clients, and when they are seeing all these things happening, it is causing a great damage to his branding and to his online identity. Now, when we dig deeper on, when we tried to do the investigation, we came to know that this server or the details of the website were actually being accessed by his ex-employee who was being terminated from that particular company. Immediately, we registered an offense under Section 65 of the Information Technology Act, and also the person was arrested and the case is still going on. Most of the companies are today not recruiting him because a case of data theft or identity theft is being put on him. So friends, please try to understand that these things are very serious. Lot of people who are working in companies, if they have any disengagement, or if they have any problems with the management of the company, and if they leave the company, they put a bad review about the company in the section of Google reviews. Let me tell you, until and unless the charges are proved, posting such reviews comes into the foray of cyber defamation, and the person who's posting such reviews can be prosecuted, because the court says, or the judiciary says, that if you have a grievance with this particular, or if you have a grievance about this particular issue, you should take it with the appropriate forum, and you should not be making derogatory comments unless and until the charge is being proved. So all these things, my friends, are happening in today's scenario, and the only thing that should help us is your due diligence, your awareness, and your sensitization. Coming to the other sections, as we already discussed the first case on identity theft. So identity theft is also a part of the punishments that are covered into the Information Technology Act. Then there are, punishments for cheating by personation, wherein you assume the identity of a particular person. Like in this particular case, the fraudster assumed the identity of a fraudulent courier company, and he defrauded this particular lady of from by siphoning off money from her account. This comes into the foray of cheating by personation. Then there are offenses that talk about cyber terrorism. So anyone who's indulging in the activities that may harm the repute or that may cause any damage to the sovereignty of the state of India, that is when it will be considered as cyber terrorism. Then there are offenses that talk about child pornography. Like if you ask me the world data, UK is the country which has the largest number of pedophiles in this world. So the Indian Information Technology Act, the Indian jurisprudence experts have actually included this section to punish offenders who are posting sexually explicit content about children. Now, since we have already come into the 40th or 50th minute of this session, I would like to tell you, or I would like to discuss a last case study, which is a very interesting case study. I hope that you have the time and you're interested to listen about this case study, because this is very interesting. So what actually happened is this story happened in the state of Goa. One lady, this actually happened few years back, so it is a little old, but it is very interesting, so hence I said that let me share that with you. So one lady went to the police station and made a complaint, saying that her sister is disappeared, and she's untraceable from the last 7 days. Now, if a person is missing for 24 hours, that is when you can actually go ahead and raise a missing complaint against that particular person. So the laws, the domestic violence or the women laws that were prevalent 3 to 4 years back, this lady was asked that, do you suspect any particular person? So she said that, okay, I suspect my sister's husband in this particular crime. So as per the laws that were prevalent 3 4 years back, whenever a woman used to make a complaint against her husband or the in-laws, immediately they used to be arrested without any investigation. Now, since there are a lot of frivolous cases, domestic violence cases being put up by women as well, the Supreme Court has said that an investigation before arrest is at utmost necessary, or it is mandatory. But at that point, there was no such provision. So that person was immediately arrested, and after being arrested, he was interrogated, he was sent to jail, and using his legal rights, he applied for a bail, and he even got the bail. As per the conditions of the bail, he was supposed to visit this particular police station for on one particular day of the week and at one particular time. So what happened is that this police officer who was taking the signature, he happened to be a part of one of my seminars on cyber security, and he called me. He said, sir, actually, I'm stuck in a very big situation, because there is one person who diligently comes on this particular time and that particular day. He makes the signature, he doesn't say a word, and very sincerely he comes and goes. And he was an experienced police officer. So even police have a very good understanding about the psychology of a person, and they look at things like his body language and other things to understand if he's truthful or not. So he told me that, sir, I feel that this person is very innocent. Karke. He has not committed this particular crime. So I said, how can I help you? So he said that, sir, I want your help in, solving this case. So I said, listen, Mr. So and so, you have put me in a really bad situation. But since you say that the matter is genuine and an innocent person should not be victimized, let me ask you some few basic questions. So I started with my favorite questions. Does she have a mobile phone? Is she using an email account? Does she have a Facebook ID? And these 3 4 questions I asked him. So he said that, sir, I have not taken these questions into the foray of investigation, but let me come back to you with the answer. So he spoke to the lady, and after 7 8 days, he comes back to me with the answer, and he tells me that, okay, sir, what is happening is that I asked all these questions to this particular lady, and when I asked her that does she have a phone, she said that she does have a phone, but the phone is switched off. So we are not able to communicate with her, or we are not able to get this information. My second question was that is she using a Facebook account? So her sister said no. My sister is not into that. Lady said no. My sister is not into all this social media and all that stuff. She's not using any Facebook account. I said okay. So the third question, luckily, the answer came to be an yes. She was using an email address. So I asked this particular police officer that you please go ahead and get all the information about this email address. What is the email address? Give me this information. So when I came to know his email, the lady's email address, we immediately through the cyber cell, we sent a message to the respective email service provider, and we asked for the IP address details. The IP address details gave us the information from where the account was last logged in from and where the account was last logged out from. Luckily, this email address was accessed 4 days back, and in the last 4 days we were able to get the IP address, and using the IP address we were able to pinpoint the position or the location of the city and the place in that city where this email address was last accessed from. Immediately a police team was sent and the lady was got back in the police station. When she was interrogated, she confided in the police officer, in front of that police officer, saying that this was my sister's idea and there was a divorce case that was pending and going on between me and my husband. And just to make that case stronger, I put up this false case on this particular man. Friends, please understand, try to understand the gravity of the situation here. It is very difficult to go ahead. Now even the truth was discovered, or even when the truth was unraveled, it took at least 3 to 4 months for the truth to unravel. And this 3 to 4 months, that innocent man was continuously being jailed. He was continuously being called for interrogation. He was not allowed to leave the country. Even things like his passport was impounded. I again hope that I'm not trying to create an atmosphere of fear here, but let me tell you and let me appraise you about the real scenario. Now, since we are already almost coming to the end of this session, I will like to discuss some very important points that will be useful to you if a cyber fraud happens with you. So let's take an example that a bank fraud has happened with you. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to go ahead and call the helpline number of that particular bank and register a cyber fraud complaint with that particular cyber fraud department or with their helpline. Please make sure that you get a complaint number, because without the complaint number, the complaint is not valid. And make sure that you make this complaint within the first 3 working days of the fraud happening with you. Because if you do it after 3 days, then there are certain rules or regulations set up by the RBI, wherein the percentage of the money that you would be getting back would be very less. So make this complaint within the first 3 days, and make the first complaint with the helpline or the fraud investigation team of that particular bank. Please do not forget to take a complaint number or some acknowledgement number as a proof that you have made this particular complaint. Immediately the next step is go ahead and file a complaint with the cyber cell or the local police station if there is no cyber cell in your particular jurisdiction. Now, what are the things that you need to include in this particular complaint? So the date, place, time, the name of the suspects, and the entire description of the facts and the circumstances of the case should be given in detail. For example, at 12 o'clock in the night, if you receive a message from your bank saying that this amount has been siphoned off from your bank, please include the copy of that message in the bank, and please include the entire scenario, as in, for example, when did you receive the message, what did you do, what happened later, did you try to contact the bank. Mention all these details in the complaint that you make to the police. Because friends, there are not more than 5,000 cyber security trained police professionals, and there are more than 5,000 cases happening in a month. So it is somewhere our responsibility to make sure that we give in detailed information about the fraud or the crime that is happening, because it makes the job of the police investigation team also easier. If we give them the details, even if you have any suspicion of a particular person, you please mention this suspicion on that particular complaint that you make. If the money has been transferred from your bank account without your knowledge, please submit the statement of the bank account, because the details of your account and the statement of your account will be for the ready perusal of the police officer. Second thing, do not forget to receive a signed and sealed copy from the police station where you have registered this complaint, because that is the only legal validity or the proof that you have also approached the police. Because if you don't have this received copy with the sign and seal of the respective police station, then what is the proof that you have made a complaint over there? So make sure that you have the sign and seal of that particular police station as well. Thirdly, immediately please submit a copy of this complaint to that particular bank, proving that you have also started the investigation on the police side. The bank will immediately give you conditional credit for that particular amount that has been siphoned off from your account. So even in the bank fraud or even in a normal fraud, if it is a bank fraud, first you go to the bank, secondly go to the police, and in other sorts of frauds, please go visit the nearest police station or the nearest cyber cell in your jurisdiction and give in a detailed complaint, encompassing the date, place, time, the facts, circumstances, and if you have any suspicion on one particular person. So please mention all these details in your particular complaint. Now, in the last 10 minutes, I'm going to take you through, some important tips that will help you to remain cyber safe and cyber secure. So my first tip is that, first of all, everyone is, making digital payments using digital wallets, or they are making online transactions using banks. So friends, the first thing that you need to do is you have to open up a separate account in the bank that will be only used for making online transactions. Please make sure that you keep only limited amount of cash in this particular account, nothing more than 3,000 to 5,000. So God forbid if a fraud happens with you in the future, at least the account which has more money or the main account wherein you store your money is not affected, and only a limited amount of cash is being siphoned off from that particular account. Secondly, I would also like to say that everyone is using either a smartphone right now, either an Android or either an iPhone or some other system, but everyone is using a smartphone these days. So what happens in a smartphone is that once you enter your Google account or your Gmail account, all your contacts, all your email addresses, all your other social media accounts, they automatically get synchronized with on that particular device. So use a separate email address that will be attached to this bank account, which you will be using at the time of making any online payment. Thirdly, if possible, also use a separate mobile number, which will be only attached to this bank's, or which will be only attached for the purposes of receiving OTP, and keep your personal and financial information always separate. Another thing that I would like to tell you is that you must be knowing that when you're trying to set up the security of your account, they ask you questions like what is your mother's maiden name, what is your pet's name. So friends, it is so easy to gather all this information on the internet or on your social media, because if you have a pet and you post a picture with him saying his name or displaying his name, it becomes very easy for the fraudster to siphon off this money from this account. I would like to tell you a very interesting study, case, not a study, but just a 1 minute case that actually happened with a person. So this person received a call on his mobile number saying that his mother has met with an accident, and immediately for the purposes of the accident, you need to transfer 25,000 rupees as a security deposit in the hospital. Now the friend immediately tried to contact his mother, but what the fraudsters had actually done is they had cut the network. They had put a network jammer in that particular vicinity of her house, wherein the connection was getting jammed. So he was not able to get in touch with his mother. So he also received a call from someone posing himself as the office staff, saying that this is Dr. So and so, and your mother has had this very bad accident, and we are sending you this consent form for the purpose of operation. You please sign and send us this copy on WhatsApp, and also transfer this money into this particular account. Now with the money was transferred, and later he came to know that okay, his mother is absolutely hale and hearty, and she has not met with any sort of an accident. Now, when we did this investigation, I first tried to understand that how did this fraudsters get information about his mother. So when I interrogated him, or when I investigated the matter with him, I asked him that what is the security question that you have posted on for your Facebook account. So he said that what is your mother's maiden name? That is the question he has posted on the account. And I said, have you given the correct answer? He said, yes, I've given the correct answer. I said, you are a fool that you have given a correct answer, because on his Facebook, he has tagged his mother on her birthday, sending her birthday wishes. And that is how the fraudster got to know about the information or the name of his mother. All he had to do is he needed to put the mother's name, and he gained access to all the personal information that he ever had on that particular account. So whenever you are filling up all these questions and all, make sure that you don't give the right answers. If they ask you your mother's maiden name, give them some other name that you will remember. Don't give them the name that you will forget, but give them some other name, but not the true mother's name, or not your true pet's name, or not your true first school's name. So all these things that you need to do, that will really help you to remain cyber safe and cyber secure. So in a nutshell, if you ask me, you don't keep a separate account in which you keep very limited amount of cash. Use a separate email address if you are making any payment through using online digital wallets. Attach a separate mobile phone number for receiving OTPs, and keep your personal and financial information separate. And also make sure that you do not divulge the real details for the security questions. So what? So now we are already like I'm sure that we have crossed 1 hour for this webinar now. So I would not want to take much of your time on this Sunday, as it is your holiday, and I would like to conclude this webinar. But before I conclude this webinar, I would like to make one humble request to all the ladies, all the women attending this webinar. So my humble request to you is that even if you have a very small incident of cyber stalking, cyber bullying, someone is harassing you on the internet, even if it is a one-time harassment, make sure that you please report this to the respective cyber cell, because you never know what might happen or what crime can happen in the future, because your ignorance, your negligence makes the cyber fraudster more stronger, and it gives him more energy to commit more types of frauds on you. So, ladies, women, and all the girls in this group, please make sure that any single incident of stalking, harassment online should be strictly reported. Please do not feel that this will malign your career और आपका नाम खराब हो जाएगा. ये किसी का नाम खराब नहीं होता है. प्रॉब्लम आना चाहिए तो वो फ्रॉडस्टर को आना चाहिए, आपके नाम को नहीं. And as I said, that you put a very strong lock to all your physical assets, the integrity and modesty of a woman also comes into the foray of a person's physical integrity and a physical security. So make sure that you take all the necessary steps to stop all these things if these things are happening to you. And you can anytime get in touch with me if you are facing any such problems, and I'll be very happy to help you out on this. Concluding this session, I would also like to say that in India as a country needs more than 10 lakh cybersecurity professionals. So the cybersecurity field in general is a very niche and upcoming field for the lawyers and the students. Because, and not only lawyers, you just talk about any students in general. Even if an engineering student has some information or has some certification when it comes to cyber security, getting a job in the market becomes very easy, because when in your CV or in your resume, when you put things like you are aware about how to protect the data of your company, you have information or you have knowledge about how to trace the digital footprints of a fraudster. If you put all these things in your CV or your resume is definitely going to be highlighted, and your chances of selection are definitely going to be better than your contemporaries. So make sure if you have any courses and all available, please make it a point that you attend such certifications or you do such courses. And I'm sure that in the days to come, your profile will be a much sought after or a much looked after profile. Having said that, I would like to end today's session, and I would like to start by taking up questions from the audience.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we let us start the
I think
question.
my battery, I just need to start the electrical connection. Just 1 minute.
If anybody has a question, kindly make in a chat box.
Okay. Yash Vyas tells me, sir, can you talk about the lacunas in the IT Act? So, no, it was Aditya Joshi who says that, it was Aditya Joshi who says that, sir, can you talk about the lacunas in IT Act? So, Aditya, if you were a part of this webinar, the first thing that I said that the IT Act is a 20-year-old act. When this act started, there were no online payments, there were no platforms like Paytm, PhonePe, Google Pay, wherein there were digital wallets. There were no, social media platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp. All these things were not there. So now in the last 20 years, there has been so much advancement in the technology that the IT Act is actually not compatible to deal with such kind of frauds. Because if you see that the Prime Minister of India says that the data of our country or the data is the new oil, but we don't even have a data protection policy or a data protection act in our country. and data as a subject is not taken into consideration or has not been given that due importance in the Information Technology Act. So these are the few lacunas of the Information Technology Act. Okay, let me see if we have any other questions. Okay. No, I don't think we have any other questions over here. But
Actually, you
yes,
explained so well.
I hope so. Either it was very
No,
boring or
sir,
I
you
explained
really
very well.
did.
There are
No,
only two
sir, we get to
solutions.
know so many things regarding that. Seriously, I don't know that putting someone's picture is it a crime.
Yes,
It's really
please
very
read
helpful for
Section
us.
66C of the Information Technology Act, which clearly says that putting any personally identifiable information is actually a punishment or is a crime under identity theft. And without,
So
you
I have
can
one
post the
question.
picture, but it is only that you should have the explicit or written permission of that particular person to use his picture. So as you see that the recent death or the suicide that we saw of the famous actor Sushant Singh Rajput,
Sushant.
a lot of people were posting the photo of his dead body on the social
Hmm.
media, and the cyber
Yes.
police made a statement saying that if you do that, this will be a crime, because posting the picture of a person who has died in mysterious circumstances. Now of course the postmortem has been done and it has been deduced that it has been a suicide, but that point of time when the investigation was not complete, posting his picture does come into the foray of a cyber crime, which is known as cyber laws in more common terms in India. So, Fareen asks me a question. What about those people who are uneducated and then also use social networking sites and are sufferers by the way of fraud? So, Fareen, though a person is uneducated, I am sure that there is no formal education that needs to be given for giving you the kind of logic that is required to decipher or to understand these crimes. As I said in my webinar, that what is the what are these cyber fraudsters doing? These cyber fraudsters are studying the psychology of a person, and when they study the psychology of a person, they come to know that by giving them things that are too good to be true, they are exploiting the human emotion of greed. And exploiting this human emotion of greed, they are actually going ahead and siphoning off money from their account. So, though a person is uneducated, most of the people who are successful in this world have not taken formal education. Do they mean that they don't have logic? Does that mean that they don't use their due diligence? The only reason that makes them successful is that they make use of logic and they make use of their due diligence, and that is what takes them further. So, even if a person is uneducated, I think that he should use this simple logic that there are no free lunches available in this world, and cyber fraudsters are there to exploit these things by giving you, by offering you lotteries, by offering you scams. Friends, do you really think that you are that lucky that your name will be out of the blue selected for a 1 crore lottery? And few of them might be also, but you have to be not 100% sure, but 200% sure to make sure that this is really happening or not. So I have one more question over here. It says, "Hello, sir. I'm second year BA LLB student and want to pursue my career in cyber law. How should I prepare this year only so that I can do well in the future?" So, Ishika, what we are going to do, me and Lawyers Bro as a team are going to come up with a very interesting certification course on cyber security, and someone from the team will get back to you. Please share your email address with the team, and someone will go ahead and give you all these details. So Harshit Tiwari asks me that what about mens rea in crime? Mere having a fun or joke with friends amount to cyber crime? Is it so that cyber crime cannot be acknowledged in today's digital world? No, see, mere making a fun or joke of friends. as long as it doesn't make him feel uncomfortable, it doesn't make him feel defamed, then it is not a crime. If he's taking it in a friendly or in a joking manner, then there is no, crime in that. But if a person feels uncomfortable, if a person feels derogatory, if a person feels victimized by the kind of comments that are being passed on him, then yes, definitely it will be acknowledged as a cyber fraud or cyber crime. So I have, okay, which provisions rule act is violated in sharing dead body picture before postmortem? See,
Sorry.
any investigation, until and unless it is not complete, we have no right, or we have no legal, we have the liability to make sure that we do not post in wrong information. Like for example, Aditya, if you are posting dead body pics of this particular celebrity without the investigation being complete, and saying things like, okay, this person died because he was suffering from depression, and maybe the Bollywood industry was responsible for that. If you are making such comments, or if you are posting such pictures without the completion of investigation, this might incite a public outright or a public outcry. So somewhere you are doing an act that is disturbing the public peace. Sharing pictures of a dead body might incite any violence on the side of the public. So unless and until the
Yes.
investigation is complete, we should not be doing anything like this. Morally, though, it is wrong, but legally also it is wrong. So I don't think we have any further questions. So by
Yes.
saying that, we would like to end this webinar. Once again, I would like to thank you all for calling, for spending your time on a Sunday and getting bored by a 1 hour long session that I gave you.
No,
And
no, sir.
I hope that I did not create an atmosphere of fear. But friends, please
No.
make sure that, and please try to understand that your safety and your due diligence is the first and foremost factor that will save you from any, cyber fraud or cyber crime. Just one last question I can see. Recently, I got some emails like your computer was hacked. So please make some dollars. So what about these spam emails? Just ignore them, Raj. You don't have to answer them, because if you even click on some of the links, there are chances that the money might get siphoned off from your account. Because right now the cyber fraudsters are so smart that they don't even require your account details. Even when I was asking you a question about the email, let me tell you, friends, that even without knowing the password of your email, there are certain softwares available on the dark web or on the internet, wherein without even me knowing the password of your email, I can show you that I will be generating an email from your particular email address. Unfortunately, this is a webinar, so I'm not able to give you a live demo. But had it been a live session, I would have actually taken some of the numbers from the audience, and I would have showed them that even without them touching the mobile phone, or even without me knowing their email account password, an email or a phone call or a message has been generated from the ID belonging to them. So be very careful about your online your work, because you are known in the virtual world by your online information. So make sure that you do not pass any information that will cause you any harm in the future. So I hope that I'm able to answer all these questions, and I'm really sorry if I've missed any questions. But please, the Loyal Bro team can mail it to me, and I will personally make sure that this question is answered and the resolution is given. So once again, thanks a lot,
Thank you
Loyal Bro,
so much, sir.
for giving me this opportunity to create this awareness and sensitization in the for the people. And I'm really thankful for the people to come and attend this webinar and spending their time. And I hope that we are able to take such interesting webinars in the future.
Yes.
So thank you once again,
Thank you so
and it
much,
was great
sir.
conversing with you. And be cyber safe, be cyber secure, and please use your own due diligence. And I hope then nothing will be able to defraud you from these crimes. Okay. All right. By saying this, I'll take your leave and thank you once again. And have a great
Thank you
Sunday.
so much, sir.
Yes. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.